Very good morning to everyone. As part of our continuous learning journey about Python programming language, our next step is to learn about an object type called tuples. We had seen different object types, right? Initially, we started with numbers, then strings, then list, then dictionaries. Like that, we have traveled to different object types, right? The next object type that we want to explore is tuples. Tuples are similar to list. There is no difference. There's no much difference between tuples and list. The big difference is the tuples are immutable list. What does mean by immutable? Immutable means you cannot change their value in their place. You cannot change their value in their place. That means using index. Now the list is sequenced, so list or a sequence. So you can change the any element or any member of list using its index, right? So using that index, you cannot change the member of tuples. So if that is the case, what are the need? Why we have to go for if we have a list, but it is not extendable, right? So we cannot grow or shrink. So you have to use it as such, right? If you want to have such a list, then the tuples are very great fit for you. Right now we can but that is a need of some of the software development or what is the embedded product development or testing. In that case, we need a list or an array. Its value should not be changed by the program, or the value of that array will not change over in the program when it is running, right? So it just used as a lookup table. It is just used as a lookup table. So to get the list of values and then use those values in the programming and produce in another result. But the list will not be changed. The members of the list will not be changed, right? They will be always as such, right? So that is when you need such a when your application requires such a list, then instead of using list, you can go for tuples, right? So syntactically, when you come to tuples, how to initialize tuples or how to create a tuples, if you ask such a questions, they are coded. That means when you want to create a tuples, you have to use parentheses to encode your list member. See, when it comes to list, we use square brackets, right? We use square brackets to store the members of the list. When it comes to tuples, you have to use parentheses to store the members of tuples, right? So that means it started with a parenthesis and then elements one by one you have to feed to store them in the tuples, right? When you are accessing the tuples members, right, in list we store the members of the list using the square bracket and access them using square bracket. But in tuples, you store them using parentheses. When you are trying to access them, you are accessing through a square brackets, right? Like array. So in array, we use square brackets to access the member of array with a particular index, right? We use a square bracket to access them programmatically in program, right? When it comes to tuples, we will access them using a square bracket. So that is the syntactical difference that we have in the tuples when we are creating, right? The list, the creation of list is something, syntax to create a list is something different from syntax to create tuples, that we have to understand, right? As our strings and then list, they are supporting random types now. So we can store integer there, and then we can store integer, floating point number, string, everything possible in list now. We can have a arbitrary type in the member of list. Here also in tuple also you can have arbitrary member, arbitrary object type. There is no issue in that. You can have multiple data types in the data with the multiple data types in tuples, right? Also, they allows nesting in that, right? All sequence operations that we used to do, right, with list, that is possible in tuple as well, right? These are the things that we know about tuples. And then as far as the type specific methods, as per the current research till now, whatever that we exploration or research that we made on tuples, we get two type specific methods that can work with tuples. One is the index, right? Another one is count. The count function count the occurrence of a specific object in tuple. The index functions can be used to find out the index in which a particular data is stored in the tuples, that we can get it. So these are the two type specific methods that we know as of now with respect to tuples, right? Then we have a problem statement. Usually we used to practice them, whatever that we learn using a problem statement, right? So the same we can do for tuple as well. The problem statement here is they create list of 10 different vehicle speed. Okay, brilliant. Right, it is these vehicle speed will be used as a lookup table. We won't change them when the program is running. They won't shrink or grow. They are created and used. That's all. The print count of sample using type specific functions. They ask us to print the total number of samples that we have in that tuples using the type specific function. This is the assignment that we have in front of us, right? So let me bring Python to do it, right? We will do a module to do that one. That let me bring Python now. Okay, team, we are in the working directory of Python program. Now let me bring Python. I think we can create a module first and then we can execute that in Python. That would be sufficient. So for that, let me create a module now. Notepad, then we tuples, right? Tuples, then yeah, dot p1. Right, here we have empty Python module. Let me create to generate 10 vehicle speed samples. Right. So for that, for like speeds is equal to parenthesis. Here we need different vehicle speed, no? So 0, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210, but I don't think this is realistic. Let me have some intermediate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need two more. So you can say 110, 80. Okay, so we have 10 different vehicles. We know. Okay, brilliant. Now, first, let us print this one and check whether that is working. That I have to compile this one. Right, we have a list of vehicle speed, 10 different vehicle speed. Now we are going to print the total number of elements in the tuple. To print that, actually I told that the count will list the total number of element in the tuple. That is wrong. It will count number of occurrence of a particular entity that we specify here. For example, I want to know number of time 30 exists in this tuple. For that, I just give vehicle speed count of 30. That means how many time the 30 exists in that one. Right. So save that. Okay, it exists one time. The 30 exists one time. To print index at which we have 30, let me print the index at which we find 30 is percentage D, then within bracket vehicle speed dot index of 30. Right. Hmm. Right. Print index at which we find 30 in the tuple. We save that and then let me run the program now. So index at which we find 30 is 1. So at the first index 1, we find 30. But in the tuple, we have two 30s. One exists at the index 1, one exists at the index 10. But it is not printed. So from this, what we come to know is the tuple, that is index function, find out the occurrence of object in the object, the first occurrence of the index of first occurrence of object that we pass to index function. Right now, it find out the index of the first occurrence of object in the tuple. That is done by that function that we have to understand. Though there are two, it print only one. Index of only one object. Right. Then I'm going to do some sort of testings that I told. For example, to what do you say? To falsify the test, to check what I told is correct with respect to tuple, I'm going to do some of the operation. Those are not allowed in the tuple. Initially, let me assign some value to tuple. That means let me change values of particular object in the tuple, right? Vehicle speed. For that, I have to give the index of the entity that want to, So I want to change the value at the first index to 45. Right? I am trying to do that. Let me check whether I am able to do it. As per the discussion that we had, it should not be possible because the tuple is immutable. Right? Tuple object does not support item assignment. So you cannot assign new value to an existing tuple object. That is not possible. So it's just a lookup table. You can use it. That's all. Then let me check in another thing that we can achieve using an existing tuple. That means, like, let me create a new tuple by adding some more element to the existing tuple list. Right. For that, I say by concatenating some more element to the existing tuple list. For that, I say vehicle speed 2 is equal to vehicle speed plus 240, 250. So I add these two things. Right. And then I print vehicle speed 2. Right. Let me run the program. Right. I'm able to create a new tuple by concatenating additional element to existing tuple. But I cannot change the tuple element in their place. That we have to understand. Okay, team. I believe I have given you an introduction about what tuple is and how to create a tuple, how to access the members of tuple, and then and how to extend, like, mean, if you want to add additional element to an existing list, how to do that one, right? That we have done. Also, okay, team, that's all for today. Let me catch you with more details in upcoming session. Thank you. Thank you for watching.